I have a second channel, Cube Comp MTDX. Hey everybody, here look at the Plexi, and we just got a motherboard in for it today. This is the one I ordered off of eBay. What was it, last week? This is an Asus motherboard. It's a upgraded variant of the board that's on the Plexi right now. Of that Asus, what is it? It's a M4A88T-M OEM for Asus desktop CM1630. That was the board I had flashed the BIOS on, but had some issues with the board, so I found this one, which is essentially a more upgraded version of that motherboard. I forget the exact model of it, but we'll find out for sure once I open the box. Yeah, I'm not the craziest about bringing boxes in right now due to COVID-19, but I figured I'd bring this one in and unbox it. I got some rubbing alcohol right here I can wipe down my desk with. Yeah, I love this printing priority mail postage on UPS labels. That's funny. Get this out of the way. So I'll cut through it. Okay. Okay. I guess I don't have to worry about having to hide my address off of a packing slip because there ain't no packing slip inside the box. It's probably this. It's probably in this right here. All right, let's get this hopefully not COVID-infested box out of the way. I noticed this one did not come with the I/O shield. Now the eBay listing did not describe it as coming with an I/O shield, but that's kind of disappointing because normally when you buy a motherboard you would expect it to come. You would prefer that it come with the I/O shield plate. And I don't think we have one with this. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's inside here. Good gosh, this is a huge bag. Okay, there's the board, and as mentioned, we do not have an I/O shield with this one. So, however, I do think the board that's on the Plexi right now actually uses the same exact shield. So we should be able to reuse the I/O shield plate off that other motherboard, which is okay. I'm glad at least I had that one because I don't much care for running these things without shields with the over the spot right here. So, this motherboard, if you look at it carefully, you'll notice it highly resembles the board I pulled out of the TV box and installed on the Plexi. Except this motherboard does in fact have its IDE header for your CD drive. It also has, instead of two PCI slots, it has two PCI Express and one full width PCI Express for your video card, and just one PCI down here. This one also has 2 USB 3 ports and 4 USB 2 rather than just 6 USB 2. It has the same, looks to be the same audio, except this one, I think. No, it also has via audio. There's the codec chip right there. I hope you're seeing this. Here's the via audio codec, and I think this Realtek chip over here is probably for the LAN. So very similarly outfitted board. So I think I might go and install this. So my plan is I'm going to keep the RAM and CPU that's on the existing board on there, and I think what I'll do is swap out the other socket AM3 processor that I have on hand. That's an Athlon II, because I'm curious to see if I can unlock cores on it. So we're going to just leave this right here, and I'll go and gather up a CPU core. And also another thing, this board don't even have its mounting bracket for your heatsink fans. So, now, of course, it was pictured that way in the listing, so I'm not going against the seller or anything. But wow, it's a good thing that I keep extras of these. So I'll have to install a the socket AM2, socket AM3 cooler mounting bracket. And I'll go and grab me a CPU core and a CPU and some memory for this thing. Okay, so I've gathered up a bracket, and I got this Athlon II 245E processor. I'm going to use this one. This is actually the one I was running in the Plexi for a while. I'm curious to see if this particular chip has any extra cores available, because this is actually a 45-watt TDP chip. So yeah, that's one thing I'm interested to see is perhaps maybe if it has disabled cores that could be re-enabled by this board. And also, I'd be curious to see how up could overclock, given us it's a low power draw chip to begin with. So I got this heatsink fan assembly here. This is a pretty standard one. This is the one that came out of a HP system, and it's funny, it's the Asus branded heatsink fan, so it'll go with this motherboard really well. So first thing I'm going to do is install this bracket. Now the fact that this thing is missing, was missing the bracket, makes me question what kind of history this motherboard has had. It really does make me kind of question it in a way. Like maybe someone had a high-end CPU cooler on this thing, or they may have used this thing for overclocking, had it water cooled, I don't know. Because usually in the case where you have a really high-end cooler that mounts usually directly mounts to the back plate, or if you have a CPU water block that does the same, would be generally the reasons why you would have to take the original bracket off. It's always a good thing. It's always a good thing to hang on to these things whenever, in the case where you get bad boards. So I'm going to mount this up. Yeah, this yellow bracket came off of a Foxconn motherboard. I think it was an OEM. It was an OEM pull from an Acer system, I think. Okay, since I forgot to tell you guys the model, if you hadn't really in case you hadn't already noticed it, it's an Asus So, I'll go ahead and install our CPU. And one thing I've noticed funny about this board is that it claims 140 watt CPU support. That's a pretty major claim considering this just has a 4-pin CPU power header. Yeah, I would be more comfortable with an 8-pin power header in that kind of case. I'd say that the 4-pin is definitely good up to 95 watts. But once you go over that, you would really want to step up to an 8-pin power supply and connector. At least that's my opinion. I'm going to wipe off the CPU as well as the cooler. In the case where I really want to play around with this thing and I need additional cooling, I can always step up to a better cooler. Yeah, this is a socket AM2 era heatsink fan. That's what's nice about AMD is from the socket 754 up through Ryzen, at least socket AM4, you could use the same. You could use the same heatsink fan. Now, of course, you would probably want a better one for more of the more high-end CPUs. But I mean, the fact that there's the compatibility is there. That's the cool thing about it. Sadly, you can't say the same for Team Blue, who seems to have a new socket for every CPU to come out with, and also in many cases a new cooler mounting design. Like for example, I got a crap ton of coolers designed for LGA 775, and too bad because I can't use them on newer sockets like 1366 or 1155, for example. Yeah, grab us some normal compound. I won't be surprised if somebody leaves a comment like, "Why are you spreading your praise?" Sometimes I do put a blob in the center. It depends on the application. Make sure this thing's unlocked. There we are. Crazy how long of a cable they have on this fan. It's kind of overkill in my opinion. Alright, let's go and grab some memory for this thing. Okay, so I got 4 gigs of G-Skill DDR3 1600. I'm going to pop in this thing. I'm going to populate the 3rd and 4th slot like it is on the Plexi. And if I need to change it out later on, I'll change it out. Okay, memory's installed. Okay, so just now shut down the Plexi and we're ready to swap out the board. Just gotta unplug everything from the back. And really, as mentioned, this other board is really just an upgraded version of this board here. And also, since it's a retail board, I don't have to worry about having to deal with flashing a modded BIOS onto it. Okay. So we'll go ahead and remove our video card. Disconnect our power and all our connections. We'll remove this full header and adapter that I made, because I believe it will also work with the other board. Yes, that makes me wonder why in the heck did Asus deviate away from the standard front panel header and just do things their own way. That's kind of a good question. Kind of a ridiculous move in my opinion. And this motherboard is definitely a match for the existing shield plate. I'd say it's a good thing that I was replacing this board's replacing one like it. Yeah, because a lot of times I just don't really care to be missing the IO shield plate, leaving a nice big hole in the back of the system where all the connections are. That's just my opinion. Okay, let's plug everything back up and see how it does. Okay, let's start this thing up and see what we get. Okay, so the CMOS is the date and time has been lost. It is not responding to the keyboard. Here we are. 2002? Really? That's funny. Let's just set a random. Let's see here. It's pretty bad when you forget what today's date is. That's what happens when you're in the coronavirus shutdown. Just now I realize how late it is. It's actually after 3 o'clock. Holy cow. Now, before I do anything else, I'm going to exit and save and shut the system off. But I think maybe the CMOS battery might be bad. I'm going to shut it off. I'm going to turn the power off. Hold the power button in for a few seconds or so. Let's see if it's retained the settings or not. Okay, there. Okay, it did retain date and time. BIOS on this is practically identical to that previous board. These are processor and these are memory. This is the Athlon II X2 245E. And we have our jumper-free configuration, of course, with our overclocking and all that good stuff. Maybe the seller reset the CMOS on this board before he listed it. I don't know. Before he pulled it out of its previous computer. Who knows? You know, one thing I'm going to be doing here in a second is I'm going to see if I can quieten that fan down. Hopefully this board supports 3-pin fans. Huh, is this a... This must be a 880G motherboard. I think the previous motherboard may have been a 760G. I don't know. Chipset. Northbridge at least. I'm just fiddling, going through everything here. Yeah, see how it's saying Smart Q fan function is enabled. It's definite. I think it's not certain. I think it might only support 4-pin fans. So if I can't get this one to work, I'll probably swap out a different cooler. Yeah, the BIOS on this board is pretty much identical to the modded BIOS that was on the other board. Yeah, I know what that is already. So, alright, let's go ahead and load back up into Windows. I'm going to try something here. So it runs at full speed on the system fan header, chassis fan header too, not sure why. I'll figure that out at a later time. Yeah, definitely got to quieten that fan down. That thing's annoying. That's the Athlon II dual core. It's running the memory in dual channel. That's good. One thing I want to make sure of. Here's our motherboard and BIOS information. and our cache, our CPU cache information. Given this is not the Phenom, it's the Phenom 2. It doesn't have level 3 cache. Here's the graphics. And our CPU is running at a cool 28 degrees Celsius. So yeah, the core temp is reporting lower than the motherboard CPU temp is reporting. Okay, so let's restart this thing, and provided it's finished doing what it's going to do. Well, I'm going to start here in a moment. We'll attempt to unlock the cores, see if we can unlock any more cores on this thing. Okay, so why does this thing do this sometimes? There we are. So going here to boot settings, I'm going to turn off that full screen logo. I like to see, I prefer to see what's on the post screen and not just the fact that it's an Asus motherboard. Alright, let's go back to the where was it? Hardware monitor. It's funny, it gives you these numbers. It's to start voltage. I'm gonna set that to 6 and see what it does. See, auto mode start speed temp 25 degrees Celsius. In auto mode full speed temp is 55 degrees Celsius, and it's according to this number up here. But there's nowhere in here to specify that it's a 3-pin fan. It's really odd. It's funny how the motherboard that's in Mid-Tower Lux, a much newer board, offers the functionality of being able to set up whether it's a 4-pin or a 3-pin fan. Yet this board apparently does not have that. That's something I have to look into at another time. Alright, let's see if we can unlock any cores. Okay. Let's see what we get here. Yeah, we're still running as a dual core. So yeah, I think it's hit or miss with these processors. But anyways, we've got the board swapped out to this other board. I'm going to have to figure out the CPU fan issue here in a little bit. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Well, everybody, that's it for this video. But don't forget, there's a lot more interesting stuff on the channel to check out. Also, if this is your first time visiting this channel, feel free to subscribe to keep your channel. And also, don't forget to tick the bell so that way you'll get notified of new video posts. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. But if you really didn't like it, there is the alternative option available as well. Also, feel free to check out my second channel, CubeComp MTDX. There you'll find videos about bicycling, weather, elevator tours, and all sorts of other neat, interesting stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to come back, and thank you for your support.